Okay.
Here we go.
Okay. Hello and welcome to the Common Sense SEO show. This is the first one of what we hope will be many. And before we get into what this is all about, I just want to say hello. My name is Tony Grant. I'm sure many of you have seen me around on the Skype groups, so on and so forth. And over there in Denmark, on the other side of the room, is my co-host Henrik.
Hello. And just a little bit of housekeeping first. I don't know if you all can hear us. So if you can hear us, just give us a 1 in the comment section. That'll be nice to hear if you can hear us loud and clear. Okay, seems to be okay.
Okay. And
then let's start, Tony.
Let's start. Okay. So what's the CommonSenSEO Show all about, or the CommonSense SEO Show all about? First off, it's as many of us here, I know many on the group that have joined over the last week are all involved in SEO at some level, have some understanding, whether as a beginner or there's definitely some experienced people in amongst the crowd as well. The whole idea here was that both myself and Henrik were involved in many different communities. And the skill level is well, it's not really so much about the skill level. It's about the advice that's around and about out there that we all seem to pick up and latch onto. There's a lot of talk, a lot of rumors, a lot of myth, a lot of everything that we pick up as we go along. And the sort of, it seems to be that when people see something 2 or 3 times, they start to believe it. And over the past few months, as I'm getting deeper and deeper into the different SEO communities, I'm noticing that there's a whole lot of myth that people are actually taking forward as being the truth. And I just thought that it's getting a little bit silly. So in fact, I noticed only the other day there was a guy that was justifying a belief based on an article that was posted on somebody's blog that was just supposition, pure supposition. And I just thought this is crazy. I know there's a lot of information out there, and I know a lot of people have got to take notice of something and believe in something. But what I really wanted to do with this was bring together a bit more common sense, which hence the title, bring a lot more common sense to it, to the argument. So rather than just believing what we read in any of the blogs or what people post on Skype groups, etc., we sort of take a broader picture, have a broader understanding of what's going on in the SEO community, and try and make some sense out of that and move forward with knowledge and with sort of some knowledge behind us, rather than just thrashing about wildly and hoping that we rank and hoping that something sticks. So this is the whole idea. Now, to take it one step further, I mean, I'm involved in, as both Henrik and I are involved in various different, like I say, various different communities, and we're in paid mentorship groups as well as free ones. And within some of those groups, I mean, I'm involved in one which is very much about single variable testing, and I'm seeing one side of SEO. I know Henrik's involved in another one, which is all much more involved around stacking and those sorts of aspects of SEO. And it's crazy because both of those approaches to SEO have definite results. We've proven it. We prove it day in, day out with our own work. There's definite benefits from following either track. But what seems to happen also is people get into one community or the other, they believe one or the other wholeheartedly, and then it becomes a battle between the two. Sort of the single variable testers sort of stand there shouting at the stackers, and the stackers say the SVT group are a bunch of idiots, and it goes on like that. It's not about who's right, who's wrong. There is no real right or wrong in SEO. It's just what makes sense. What will get us to the top of Google with the minimal of effort, reliably, without breaking too many rules and without sort of being too unethical about it. So there you go. That's the whole purpose behind the Common Sense SEO show. We're out there in the trenches day in, day out, and we're learning all this stuff. But not only are we learning it, we're actually putting it into place. We're actually out there, we're building sites, we're testing all these strategies, and we're really digging in to find out what works and what makes sense for our sites and hopefully your sites. So is that making sense? Should I continue?
Please do.
Thank you. Right. So the next thing to say is you may read something about SEO. So there may be a rumor, there may be something that will say H1 tags do this, or you need these many words in your body text, and you need these many images, and you've got to put your YouTube video here, and you've got to so on and so forth. Now, again, the danger is you see people running around thinking, but I've got to have 1,200 words or 1,500 words on my homepage. That's what we've been told. The truth is, it changes, it varies, it absolutely varies from whether you're dealing with an e-com site, whether you're dealing with affiliate, whether you're dealing with local. Every single aspect, every single I can't think what the category of SEO is different. There is no such thing as a definite, you need 1,200 words. It doesn't work that way. And one of the things that I fully believe in, I mean, I think this was a guy, James Upjohn. If anybody ever saw any of his webinars in the past, a guy who's got an incredibly relaxed way of explaining SEO, and it's brilliant. It's just it just makes perfect common sense. One of his main teachings is you've really got to go out there and let Google tell you. Don't listen to what you read on the blogs. And I know you could say, well, therefore, why should we listen to you? But the truth is, the very best person to listen to about SEO is the person we're trying to, not the person, the entity, the organization that we're trying to beat, as in Google. If you want to know what will get you to the top of Google for home services business, then the best thing to do is go to Google, do a search in your local area for home services, for carpet cleaning, whatever you want to do, and actually look and see what those results tell you. What words are highlighted? What words are coming up as LSI, semantically linked words that you should be ranking for? What common phrases should you also be considering by the people also search for? How many go into each of those 10 results and see how many of them have videos on the homepage? How many of them have the keywords in the H1 tags? How many words do each one of them have on their homepage? That's what will tell you the truth, because the truth of it all is the way to get to the top of that page one is to beat those top 10 sites at whatever they're doing. Do whatever they do and do it one better. Now, I'm probably telling you the obvious here, but so many people don't follow the obvious signals. So many people will believe, again, what I've said. They'll believe what they're told. And really, you've got to tear up the rule book, start over, and start listening to some common sense approaches which will give you results. Okay. And one of the resources that I want to share with you, and this is thanks to Patrick, actually. I don't know whether Patrick's on here at the moment, but he'll probably watch the replay anyway. And apart from sort of telling you all you guys about this show, and many of you have come over because of Patrick, but one of the things he shared the other day was a link, and from that link, I followed another link which took me to this page. And Henrik, do you have that link for the SEO guide for Google that I passed over to you earlier on? If you could drop that into the chat, that would be really helpful, please. And he's silent, so I'm probably looking for the link as I speak. So this link that I hope Henrik is about to share with you is it's gone very quiet, and I'm just thinking whether I'm actually still talking or not. Oh, here he is.
No, it's on now. Sorry.
Oh, thank you. I was just beginning to think that I was talking to an empty room. Well, I probably am talking to an empty room, but I was just beginning to think that everybody had left me. I'd probably lost my connection or something. No. Okay. So this link that hopefully Henrik has dropped into the room right now is just the very basics of SEO as told by Google. Now, again, I'm not saying this is right. I'm not saying believe what you read, whether it's titled up by Google or not. I'm not saying that whatsoever. What I'm saying is it's a benchmark. It's a starting point. It's a common starting point, and it can't be far from wrong. Surely, if this is what Google are telling us they want to find, then there's got to be possibly some element of truth in there. Whether there is or whether there isn't, we can discover that as we go along. But the best thing to do is for people that are a bit unsure, just go and review that document. Let's all get on the same page. And so as we move forward week by week, we're all starting with sort of a common knowledge or a common base point, and actually, you know, understanding the same things and in figuring out how the search engines work. Okay. So the next thing I want to sort of just move on to is what's going to happen next. Not today, but in the future. In the future, we're going to have guests on here. Hopefully, I know 2 or 3 people have already said they will come on. And over the next few weeks, we're actually, I probably shouldn't have said that yet. I'll say that again in a minute. But what we're going to do is over the next few weeks, we're going to be covering each of the fundamental elements of SEO. Now, you may say, well, I know about keyword research. I know about domain research. I know about hosting. I know about on-page, off-page, blah, blah, blah. You might. And what I might have to say might not be anything new. It might not tell you anything different. But the thing is again, what we're going to be going through is not the sort of the standard stuff that you read on Search Engine Journal and places like that. What we're going to be talking about is actually the sort of the strategies that we know work. And it's the strategies that we've tested. It's all about keyword research in the real world. It's not the rule book stuff. It's not the classroom chalk and talk. It's about how we implement these strategies and how we get to the results that we're looking for in our business. And hopefully we'll include everybody's thoughts in that. And again, you see, we come to a common sense approach to all of these different strategies. So if you're a skilled SEO, then maybe this isn't going to be for you necessarily for the first few weeks. But what I really want to do is I want to get people on the same page when it comes to the thinking about SEO. Over the last few months, like I said, I've been involved in a lot of sort of fairly serious groups. And one of the main things it taught me is that even though I thought I knew a lot about SEO, I knew there was a hell of a lot more. And I'm learning every single day. It's just incredible, insane the amount of information that's out there, and it's insane how deep this topic goes. I'm not going to go really, really in deep on these webinars, but the thing is the stuff we do need to understand to move into this serious SEO work and serious results is definitely to understand the fundamentals. If you don't understand basic on page, it doesn't matter what you do with your stacking, with your YouTube videos, with everything else, it doesn't matter. You're not going to get that site ranking. It all boils down to getting the fundamentals right, and that's what I want to cover, and getting everybody on board with sort of some common sense thinking and how to get good results. So hopefully that makes sense. Henrik, any things you wanted to add to that?
No, just that we will we'll try to find some topics on each show that might have a little droplet in terms of nuggets that can support whatever time you're wasting with us. So that's generally what we want to achieve with this show.
Absolutely, and this is like a few minutes ago we referred to having guests on board, and that the whole purpose of that is that we want to bring in some of the people that we work alongside that can actually explain some of the processes we use in a way that's going to make more sense than just us ranting on about it. Things like I mean, this is going forward a few weeks, but things like Page Optimizer Pro, for example. Pop to the top, as they like to call it. Pop in your website. It's where you use correlation to work out how to get above the 2 or 3 sites above you. Tools like that. But it makes much more sense if the person that develops that is the person that's telling you about it. Even with Henrik and Patrick, the tools that they've just put out there now, the Google poster, how to use those to absolutely max out the benefit you get from your Google My Business if you're into local. And there's even, word on the street that it doesn't matter whether you're into local or not, you still should have a GMB. Why not register a GMB? It's free marketing. So anyway, but that's further down the line. But this is the sort of things we want to be doing and bringing in people when we get round to press releases. I know that Mad just mentioned that he'll quite happily come along and talk about his press releases with us. And like I say, I'm sure Patrick will come in and talk about, excuse me, power. I've forgotten what it's called, Ranking Factory, and the other 37 factories that he's got, and again we've got Henrik here, who's the absolute expert in Google My Business. So as we move along week by week, I think there's going to be some amazing insights, and it's not just the boring old chalk and talk. I can absolutely assure you that this is taking SEO out there onto the streets, and it's how we do it day in, day out, and get success. We are definitely getting successes. We'll show you some of them, especially if we want a few link clicks from you. That'd be nice. So I think that covers pretty much most of the bases as to why this show is here. So is there any questions yet at all from out there?
No, seems to be quite peaceful.
Well,
so if you have any, please post them.
Yes, please do. Yeah, and the thing is, I know probably people are sort of resting up, because I know in like less than an hour we've got Holly's webinar that's hot on our tails, and that's going to be absolute. Well, there's definitely going to be more colourful language. I can assure you of that. So this is probably the calm before the storm, but I don't expect there to be too many questions today, really, because this is the first one. There's not going to be many people on board actually watching live. It's the middle of the afternoon in the States. No, it's not. It's the middle of the morning in the States. It's the middle of the afternoon in the UK. So it's probably not the best of times, but it suits us. If after this, if for people that, well, with all of the shows, they're all going to be coming out. They're all going to be recorded straight away afterwards. This is going out live on Facebook. If it will be, as soon as we've got the recording, it will be put up onto the YouTube channel. We will be dropping links into all of those resources as they become available. There is also a Skype group. I don't know whether you managed to get the Skype group URL. If we didn't get it, we'll get it later and drop it into the group. So there is a Skype group where you can talk if that's your preferred communication method. We will be in the Facebook group. There's also there's the group and there's the fan page. The reason there's two is that I set up the group and then realized that we couldn't. I don't think we could do I don't know. We couldn't do one thing or another in both. So we ended up with both. But for now, I think that's pretty much covered everything. Has anybody actually asked any questions yet, or are we?
No, but let's just talk a little bit about the Google shortener, because the Google shortener, which used to be 301s, have now turned into be a 302 redirects, and that's not only new shortened links, but it also applied to the old ones. So Google has been pulling our leg once again on that one. So you should try to find an alternative shortener to shorten your links, and we will be working on maybe a solution to see whether we can come up with a solution which will be better, but maybe think about if you can build one yourself, because then you're not exposed to third-party intervention like Google just has shown us that we couldn't really trust them on this one. So that was just a...
Yeah, sorry, Henrik, can you just explain briefly the difference between a 301 and a 302 for anybody that's scratching their heads?
Yeah. A 302 is a temporary redirect, and when the bot comes around, it really doesn't know which one to give the credit for, which page to give the credit. So if it's a 302, it's a temporary. If it's a 301, it's a permanent. And if it's a 301, then the juice is passed on to the other end. So that's basically it.
So basically, the links are more powerful with the 301 than they are with the 302.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. And as for Henrik just mentioned, then if you know, one of the best ways of moving forward is to actually create your own link shortener, and people might think, where do you start? And this is again is things that we will be discussing as we go on, because over the past sort of couple of months or so, we've actually been putting our own ad servers in place, our own link shorteners, our own mail servers. We're building all of these as we go along. And so again, we've got that understanding, and we can bring that to you as and when the time is right. Definitely, because one of the trickiest things, I guess, about a link shortener, it's not so much setting up the link shortener itself, which is relatively straightforward. There's a few scripts out there that you can use. As long as you've got a server or somewhere to put it, that part of it is not so complex. The problem you've got is actually getting an authoritative domain to attach it to.
Yep.
Yeah. And what we're finding is that it's almost impossible to find any domain, because there's so many people looking for domains all the time. It's almost impossible to find a domain of over maybe DA40, a domain authority of 40, that's actually not filled with Chinese or porn spam. So you know, it's difficult. You've got to sort of, that's the tricky bit. So do you buy a domain that's slightly less valued, and do you try and power it up yourself? How do you go about powering up these domains, and so on and so forth? And this is a discussion we will be having a little bit further along the line. Yes.
Jay is asking, will you show us how Patrick made his for the GMB poster? As Tony said, yes, we'll dig into that, how you can create your own URL shortener.
Yeah, I mean, we've actually got one running at the moment. We have actually set one up. And it is functional, so we can actually explain. Yeah, definitely, we can sort of take that step by step, or point you to the right resources and guidance. I think, but the difficulty is the domain, and I think that's what we're trying to figure out now, is the quickest way of powering up that domain to make that link shortener really valuable in your business moving forward. There's lots of benefits in any case of using your own link shortener. The fact that you've got control, I mean, you know, it's like the change in the ever changing landscape of the goo.gl links and so on and so forth. You've got no control over what happens to those links. You know, you can wake up one morning and all your links have gone because they've decided to just clear them out. The other thing about Google, the whatever it's called, goo.gl, I don't know how many people realize this, but they're public domain. Those shortened links, anybody can go and look at those shortened links and find out where they're coming from, as long as you know where to go. But they're actually public domain. So not only, if you're using goo.gl, not only have you got no control over your destiny, you've got no ability of knowing that when you wake up in the morning those links are even going to be there. You've also got the ability, all of your competitors can quite easily go to goo.gl and actually see as long as they find one of your links, they can then find all of your links, so they can see exactly what you're promoting and everything else. And that's crazy. That's just crazy. And not many people, I don't think that many people are aware of that. If you've got your own link shortener, nobody's going to see anything. You're in complete control. And the only reason that it's all going to fall down is if you get a DDoS attack or something like that, or whatever, or you don't pay your hosting fee or whatever. The rest of it, but it's all down to you. It's absolutely down to you. So lots of reasons why you should. We will look into as much as we can, and we'll definitely try and work out how. There was a question that was talking the other day as to whether if you get a domain, does it matter what the history of that domain is if you're not using it as a public facing domain? I mean, there's these sorts of questions that need to be answered, because then that opens up a whole realm of domains that you could use. So again, it's down to the testing and so on and so forth, but be assured that we will be covering that once we've got over these first few weeks of actually the basics of SEO, and then we're really going to dig into the, inner workings of the business and stuff like that. Well, I say dig in, but we can't give away too many trade secrets. But we can share as much as we possibly can to make your SEO success a lot easier.
And Jay is asking, it's just a statement. What I need help with is a step-by-step blueprint on using all the different tools to get ranking that will work.
Yes, and that's exactly what we're going to do.
Yeah.
The thing is if we gave you a step-by-step blueprint now, the trouble is we don't necessarily, it's not right to just lay it out there on I know it'd be ideal if you could have that, but the thing is it's there's no guarantee that you follow that through, and there's variances. Again, it's very much dependent on what you're doing in your business. So again, some of the things that we do might not suit what you do, and over the time we'll learn that with the community, and we'll develop that knowledge so that you can move forward more effectively. But if we said, here you go, these are the dozen tools that we use every day. I mean, honestly, if I tried to tell anybody new what we did day by day, it blows my mind. So honestly, the stuff that goes on, it does, because we've got people in the Philippines doing stacking for us and things like that. It's crazy, some of the stuff that goes on. If we tried to lay that out as a blueprint from the start, people would just run away scared. I'm sure. Well, maybe Jay wouldn't, but I mean, you know what I mean. It's mind-boggling. These sorts of things you really need to build up. You really need to understand the nuts and bolts. Build on solid information. Build with solid practices, using the right tools, which we absolutely will tell you. And like I say, not only will we tell you, we'll bring on the people that are developing them to tell you, so that you get their perspective as well. So absolutely, we're going to do that. We can't do it in a week. It's a massive task, as I'm sure you appreciate. You've seen the learning curve. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. I just couldn't even imagine having to sit down and write a document on how to succeed in SEO or internet marketing or e-com or whatever. It's mind-boggling, isn't it? But we'll definitely try and break that down into simple steps that are accessible, understandable, and actionable. Okay. And I will just check the time, because I'm sure we're getting sort of.
We are heading to the half hour, so I'm just checking if there are more questions. Nope.
Okay, well, that's good, because we're up to the half hour. It would be pretty rude of me to go over the half hour on the first one, so let's try and stick to it and see how we get on. Obviously, when we get to Patrick's webinar, we can never hope to last for just half an hour, because that will go on for at least 3 days. And that's gone down in recording now, hasn't it? So maybe we can edit that bit out. No, I'm joking anyway. But wherever we possibly can, we don't want to take too much time out of your day. Everybody's busy. We want to get the information to you that's relevant and actionable, and we want to see your success, and we want to share in hearing about your success, and we want to share our successes with you so that you can sort of get there too. And that's me done. Henrik?
Yeah. Thank you for drop by the show, and we look forward to give you some goodies on the next show. So until then, bye-bye.
Cancel edit button. The add dash ins button.